Good evening, Bruce here, coming at you with BITO and YBIT update. There's really been 2 trading days, no trades on either day, and no share count increase. So let's take a look. So price action on Wednesday, the Fed day, we were up. Well, let's do the right one. So we were up 0.24% from 25.43 to 25.49 in BITO, and on YBIT we were up 0.76, so we were about 1.5 times what BITO did in terms of an upside movement. And then let's take yesterday, the close of, well, it depends on where you are, but on 6/13 we closed at 25.13 down. We being BITO closed down 1.41. How about that? And we were only down 0.32. So again, when people tell you that these things aren't performing the underlying, that's not always true. So here's a case of 2 consecutive days, right? We went up more than they went up. And then we went down less than they went down, they being BITO and we being YBIT. Okay, so looking out over here, what you'll notice in some of these funds, I know you guys don't care too much about it, but they're collecting money in these treasuries, like I said, probably 4 to 5.25%, and they're rolling out of this one into these. So it'll start being blank. I'll save it for a future one when they roll one of these and so forth. So it's just a good way to keep track of the money. All right, so how are we doing? We're actually doing really well in terms of our weeklies. So let's take a look at those. So here's our price, 25.13. We had a 25.50. So 2-3 days ago when they put that on, I was kind of worried, but this sideways to slightly down action, and by the way, guys, 390 contracts versus, there's 7,000 versus 8,000, right? So it's 5%, it's less than 5%, it's in the 4s, the percentage of contracts. So not too worried about that guy. Look at the stats. We sold all of this collectively for $320,000, and we could buy it all, the only outstanding things, for $15,000. So basically we've captured 95.20 of what they paid us. All right, so let's look what that looks like on holdings. So on the holdings, we are now at a deficit. And again, I've talked about this with YBIT. They chose a 36. They were in 29s and 26s, and they chose to go all the way to the 36, allowing them to collect money in the fund, but building out a liability because this thing is still enormous, right? We're 9 points away from 36, and it expires in a week. If you saw my roaring kitty, you understand. Listen, I don't invest in GME. I never recommend anybody do. It just hit me as, wow, that's a classic case of options and leverage, steel nerves, at the same time just craziness for 68 million in purchasing calls. I haven't even checked back to see what it's doing, but I suspect it's just going down, unless he can pull a rabbit out of the hat. So anyway, this is our liability. Well, with 1 week to go, I'll tell you what, they move some cash around. I have a feeling, it's a slight feeling, that they're going to roll it tomorrow. If they don't roll it tomorrow, they have to roll it by expiration, which is a week from Friday, right? So I see it being done on 6/14 or any one of the days next week. So here we look. These are these weeklies, right? The 320 we collected in the 15, and this is by individual. So we're trading at 25.13 in BITO. There's 27.5 calls. The big bulk. There's almost no way that it gets there. I mean, it's just inconceivable. It would have to run like 30% or so. Well, what are the actual percentages? They're pretty steep for a 1-day run, right? They'd have to run 9.43% in BITO. It'd have to close, and that's just to get there to 27.50. We wouldn't owe anything if it got to 27.50. It just have to be a penny more, right? And then we don't even start losing money till 27.51. Okay, and then even then we're only giving back a portion of what we got paid. The way you know that is you go back here at that big count, which is a couple added together. Let's see which ones are all three of these added together. So they got 42 cents for a portion, they got 36 cents, and they got 47 cents. So even if we had to pay a couple cents and that thing soared, we would be making a ton in the synthetic. All right, always trying to educate you guys. All right, so here's I didn't update this latest. Yeah, I did. Did I? Yeah, I updated it. Okay, so this is 9142 over 88. So the problem is this thing, and I may owe one more in there in between and change these dates to 12/11, but you get the idea, okay? And by the way, we closed at 1850, and they're saying fair value is 1823. They think it's a little overpriced. So this will probably end up being a great buy here, in all honesty. But, it's up to you. A lot of people own a lot of different. I'm in Misty and Coney, and I own some YBIT. No question, I own some YBIT. But I won't add much because I'm trying to add in other areas. So I'm not so crypto focused. I've got some GDXY. I've got some small amount of YIELDMAX and a small amount of Ulti. I love Ulti, the wild child. It's just, I'm not going to put a lot in it. It's got to continue to prove itself. Okay, so let's look at the key stuff. It's payouts, peoples. So here's the issue, as I've said. So we got 9 million liability. Okay, so that's not going to change a lot unless we move up, a half. We got to move up 50 cents, and each of that lowers that, right? It could get into 8.5 or 8. So we got all this money that we've collected, right? 6, 7, 4, 7, 5 that we've won in our synthetics. Well, all of a sudden we may take a 9-1 loss, right? So that's going to lower that. So that goes back to explain why, in my opinion, they didn't pay us more than $1. They want this fund to be $1, right? That's the minimum for their IV. So you're gonna continue to get paid. It's just a question, can we get real aggressive earnings, right? They knew when we had this that we had already moved to the 36, and it was part of the reason we did that. By going to 36, every time we buy a call and sell a put, we collect money in the piggy bank. But when you're $10 away from your strike price, and they used a short leash, like I said, it'll be interesting if they roll tomorrow or if they roll the next day. Would they go to just a 719 or will they go out 2 months? That's the $1 million question. They seem like they have a predisposition to only going out a month. Well, if they do, I'll think that they would go back to like a 30 or something for the strike price, where we're still going to collect some revenue, but it's not so unfeasible that we can get there in a month. So just wanted you guys to know my thoughts, right? So it's with 1 week to go on expiration, 6/21. They're going to roll it tomorrow, or they're going to roll it some of the days next week. They probably won't wait till next Friday if they don't do it tomorrow. They'll probably do it any of the days, really. And they'll be looking at the strike prices, and they'll be looking at, where they want to roll to. But that will take a lot of our cash away, but it'll also set us up as we move forward to gain a lot more. These guys every week are collecting because this thing isn't really running, right? We're sort of dependent on BitO, and we're outperforming BitO. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you on YBIT. Hope that helps. Like, subscribe, channel is growing. Join the Discord if you want. I'm planning a live. I'm going to discuss that probably a week out from Friday. We'll see, and it'll be Ask Me Anything type. I'll do a live. You'll bring up your topics. It'll be outside of trading hours. Probably, I'm thinking Friday evening, maybe 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. California based. So give me some thoughts in the comments for those of you that want to come in and ask me anything, and we can get a dialogue going. All right, so again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. See ya. Have a good one. Bye.